Most people think they're struggling with money because they don't make enough. But in reality, they're struggling because they're always reacting instead of planning. Every month starts the same way. Bills come in, expenses show up, and decisions are made in real time. There's no buffer, no forward visibility, no structure beyond what's happening right now. And when you operate like that, even small disruptions feel stressful. A slightly higher bill, an unexpected expense, or a shift in income creates pressure because there's no room to absorb it. That's what living month to month actually is. It's not just about income. It's about timing and visibility. You're constantly behind the flow of your money instead of ahead of it. And when you're behind, every decision feels reactive. You're not deciding what your money should do. You're responding to what's already happening. That's why things feel unpredictable, even when your income is stable. Because the system isn't designed to look forward. It's designed to survive the current moment. And survival mode is not where progress happens. Progress happens when you create space between where you are and what's coming next. That space is what we're building today. Because once you move from reacting to planning, everything changes. Stress decreases, clarity increases, and your system starts to feel controlled instead of chaotic. Planning 1 month ahead doesn't mean predicting everything perfectly. It means giving your money direction before the month begins. Most people wait until the month starts to figure things out. They look at their account, estimate what they need, and adjust as they go. But that creates constant decision-making. Every expense becomes a choice. Every bill becomes a question. And that mental load builds over time. When you plan ahead, you remove that uncertainty. You already know what your bills are. You already know your fixed expenses. Those don't change drastically from month to month. So instead of rediscovering them every time, you map them out once and refine them. This becomes your baseline. From there, you layer in variable spending, savings, and adjustments. But the key difference is timing. You're making decisions before the pressure exists. And decisions made without pressure are always better. They're more rational, more aligned, and more consistent. This is what separates people who feel in control from people who feel overwhelmed. Not intelligence, not income, but timing. Planning ahead shifts your timing from reactive to proactive. And that single shift has a massive impact on how your system performs. The real power of planning 1 month ahead comes from how it changes your relationship with your money. Right now, if you're operating month to month, your money feels temporary. It comes in, it goes out, and you're constantly managing the flow in real time. But when you plan ahead, your money starts to feel structured. It has a purpose before it arrives. It has a role before it's used. That creates clarity, and clarity reduces stress. Because now, instead of wondering if you can afford something, you already know. Instead of checking your balance to make decisions, you follow your plan. This removes a significant amount of mental friction. You're no longer making constant micro-decisions throughout the month. You're executing decisions you already made. That's a completely different experience. And over time, that consistency builds confidence. You start trusting your system. You stop second-guessing yourself. And that's when things begin to feel easier. Not because your situation changed overnight, but because your structure improved. This also connects directly to everything you've built so far. Your buckets, your spending ceiling, your savings system, your leftover rule. All of those pieces become more effective when they're planned ahead instead of applied in real time. When you know your numbers before the month begins, your buckets become more accurate. Your spending ceiling becomes more realistic. Your savings become more consistent. And your leftover money becomes more predictable. This is how your system evolves from something you manage into something that runs. Because now, you're not adjusting constantly. You're following a structure that already accounts for what's coming. And when your system accounts for what's coming, you reduce surprises. Not because nothing unexpected will happen, but because your system has space to absorb it. That space is what creates stability. And stability is what allows you to build instead of just maintain. Now here's where most people get stuck. They think planning ahead requires complexity. Spreadsheets, detailed tracking, perfect forecasting. But it doesn't. It requires awareness and consistency. You don't need to predict every expense. You need to know your fixed structure and give your money direction. Start simple. List your bills, your essential expenses, and your expected income. That's your foundation. Then assign your categories based on that. Your spending, your savings, your flexibility. Keep it simple enough that you can repeat it every month without resistance. Because if it's too complex, you won't stick with it. And if you don't stick with it, it doesn't matter how good it looks on paper. The goal is not perfection. The goal is repeatability. Because repeatability creates consistency. And consistency is what makes this work. So your action for today is to plan your next month before it begins. Not perfectly, not in detail, but intentionally. Write down your expected income. List your fixed expenses. Assign your categories. Give every dollar a direction before it arrives. Then follow that plan when the month starts. Adjust if needed, but don't abandon the structure. Because once you do this, everything starts to feel different. You're no longer guessing. You're no longer reacting. You're directing. And that shift is what turns your system into something that actually works long term. And tomorrow, we're going to build on this by showing you how to make your system even more automated so it requires less effort over time. The daily yield. Because we're building real financial progress. One step at a time.